The Casper Mountain Science School, or CMSS, is kind of a joint project between Casper College, the Natrona County School District, and BOCES in order to promote early STEM education for middle school and high school students. And then it's expanded to include even younger students and as I said, even a lot more of our college students and beyond. I think Evert is really deserving of this award because the program that he's involved in is so broad in promoting STEM education in the state of Wyoming. We have a group of students that came up this spring from a kindergarten class, and then Evert also has college students as well as some graduate students who work here as interns. And so we've got students from early on all the way through college and even beyond Casper College. So it's really a P16 plus beyond educational program. So it's an excellent way to introduce students to pretty fundamental scientific concepts like the scientific method and things like that. They can learn that from any biology or astronomy or chemistry class, and they do effectively all over campus every semester. But being able to bring them up here and actually get them not just understanding those concepts, but seeing the application of those concepts, and then also getting excited about all of those concepts is so important in every area. I mean, STEM education isn't just for the sake of STEM, it's for the application, and it's for those careers and a variety of different functions that they'll be doing out in the workforce. It's a lot about the way of thinking. It's about understanding a way of analyzing a problem and coming up with a solution. So as we're introducing scientific reasoning and scientific analysis and those kinds of things, those are skills that students are going to use in any kind of career well beyond college, well beyond the K-12 system. And so that scientific understanding and knowledge of the way the world works and things like that are helpful in any kind of career. And so it's somebody who's able to look at a problem and analyze it and identify a bunch of different solutions, figure out what the assumptions are and whether or not those assumptions are true, and do some hypothesis testing and things like that. Those are all incredibly valuable regardless of the career.
My vision of this has been that I like to see college students interacting with nature. I like to see them interacting with kids, and I like to see them teaching. And that's a joy to me. And not to mention the science that they're getting, because when these college kids come, they're coming from all over the world. We've had them from New Zealand and England and East Coast, West Coast. These college kids come here and they bring a whole host of ideas and expertise to the table with these kids. Their world is just expanded. This is sort of an isolated area, but you know, their world has just gotten bigger actually, because they're learning the science that a college student learned in Florida, or maybe the science from a student that was working, maybe doing range rehabilitation. Well, this year alone, we put 1,600 kids through here, almost. We're really good about focusing on teaching. We're really good about, you know, building buildings and those kinds of things. But I think sometimes we as instructors need to focus on not just teaching, but learning. The thing that's inspired me the most is knowing that learning is an experiential thing. It is based upon experiences, and it results in a change of behaviors, abilities, attitudes. That's what learning is. And teaching is just providing experiences. And so here they come to Casper Mountain Science School, and they get experiences that they're not going to get in their classroom. They get experiences that are going to be different. And it appeals to a lot of different kinds of students. Where else can you go? And it's okay to stop and be distracted by an animal or a plant or a snowflake. I've had some of the best instructors on the planet. I've had great peers and great leaders and just people to talk with. And so I owe a lot of that to them too. To be able to pick out the components, to be able to observe things critically and see things that are different. I think science is for everybody in that regard, because everybody needs to be observant. Everybody needs to look around and just enjoy things. It applies to folks who are in the language arts and the other humanities. It applies to all disciplines. An artist is a scientist. A musician is a mathematician. They're all related. And we need to make those connections, and STEM does that. I think one of the things they leave here with is they have an ability to interact with a teacher in a new way. They have an ability to interact with their peers, the other students, in a new way. They have an ability to interact with the environment in a new way. And all of these are building blocks to their learning and their experiences that allow them to change their behavior and their attitudes and their abilities that are fundamental. They learn to think for themselves sometimes better here. When we're walking down the trail or something and we see something that's different and new, I think we're obligated to observe it. I think we're obligated to be refreshed by it. I think we're obligated to be attentive to it. We can't put it aside, we can't ignore it.
It really is something that gets a lot of those students interested in science and interested in ecology and environmental science in particular. Just being up here and having a good time and staying in the yurts and snowshoeing around in the middle of winter or doing water testing like they're doing today. So it has a huge impact on those students and getting them excited about science and science education.